I remember the first sensation I had, buried in the egg, was a silence that seemed unnatural. There was no sound of soft murmurs from my parents, no distant songs from the flock. Just silence. I didn't feel the warmth of my parents' bodies, nothing that reassured me I belonged to a family. Instead, I floated alone in my shell, growing without knowing who or what I was supposed to become. It was cold, sterile. When I finally broke free from the shell, the first thing I saw terrified me. A predator, towering above me, its eyes fixed forward, just like the ones nature taught us to fear. These eyes were cold and calculating, over 100 times larger than I was. This was not my mother or father. No gentle touch greeted me, no reassuring voice. Only this predator. Yet, I was too small to fight, too weak to escape. I had no choice but to rely on this creature that loomed over me, feeding me, handling me with its large, fleshy claws. I quickly learned that this predator was the only one I would ever know. They called themselves my caregiver, but to me, they were alien, unnatural. The warmth of feathers and the soft coos of my real parents remained a distant dream, something I could only feel through instinct but never truly know. As I grew, the predator sold me to another. More predators. Their faces, twisted into what they call a smile, looked to me like a signal of hunger, like they were preparing to devour me. Their hands reached for me, touching me in ways I couldn't understand. Every instinct told me to resist, but I couldn't. I was trapped, both by the cage they kept me in and by the confusion of what I was meant to be. I tried to bond with them, to survive by finding safety in their presence, because that's all I knew. But even then, I didn't fully understand the bond. I just knew it was the only thing that kept me from feeling utterly lost. When I tried to protect my new master, as my instincts screamed at me to do, they recoiled, shrieking in fear or anger. My attempt to connect, to defend, to be useful, only led them to shove me back into my prison, my cage. I would sit there, confused, not knowing what I had done wrong, but knowing I had failed in whatever I was trying to achieve. The bars that surrounded me were not just physical, they were mental and emotional, crafted by these predators who called themselves my masters. They tried to control me with their rules and their commands, but I didn't understand what they wanted from me, and I don't think they understood either. I was an alien creature to them, something meant for entertainment, something they believed they could possess, yet they could never understand what I needed. I was an amusement when they wanted me, and forgotten when they didn't. Every time I began to develop responses, ways to cope, a glimmer of control, I was torn away again, sold or given to another set of giants. Each new master had no idea of my responses, my attempts to communicate. To them, I was a blank slate, a toy, something to mold to their liking. But to me, I was just more lost, more confused, and more broken. There's something deep within me, something natural that claws at me, telling me I am meant for more than this, that I was once part of something greater, a flock, a family, a purpose. But that world is a distant echo. Now I am bound to these giants, trapped not only by their hands and their cages, but by my own confusion of what I've become. I will never know what I was truly meant to be.